Cheap floor cleaning machines look tempting on a sales flyer, but most of us have learned the hard way that the moment you pour a bucket of solvent into a flimsy extractor, the motor sputters, the suction stalls, and you're left with a mess you paid extra to avoid. That regret is what keeps many contractors and serious DIYers up at night when they're scrolling through options. So the question I kept asking myself while researching the Sandia 805000 was simple. Does this beast feel like a smarter buy, or is it just another overpriced gadget that will sit in the garage after a few bad experiences? Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I've spent the last few weeks talking to a handful of shop owners, reading forums where pros compare extractors, and watching a few YouTube walkthroughs of similar machines in action. What kept coming up was a common theme. People need a unit that can handle oil-based stains, stay running long enough to finish a job without constant refilling, and actually move the solution quickly enough to keep the work area dry. The Sandia 805000 ticks most of those boxes, but it also carries some trade-offs that only become clear once you picture it in a real-world workflow. First off, the two vacuum motors are the real workhorses here. In a typical automotive shop, you're dealing with grease, brake fluid, and sometimes even fresh oil spills that are heavier than water. One motor alone often struggles to generate enough pull to lift the thick solution through the hose, especially when the hose runs the full 25 feet across the bay. The dual-motor design on the Sandia essentially doubles the suction capacity, which translates to a steadier pull on the solution and less chance of the hose cavitating. In practice, that means you can set the machine down, walk away, and let it run for 1,520 minutes while you focus on prepping the next area, rather than constantly hovering with a handheld pump. The 12-gallon solution tank is another practical win. Most entry-level extractors come with 5-gallon tanks, forcing you to stop every few minutes to refill, breaking your rhythm and increasing the chance you'll forget to add enough solvent to the mixture. With a 12-gallon reservoir, you get close to an hour of continuous cleaning on a moderate-sized garage floor before you have to think about a refill. The autofill hose, which stretches out to 50 feet, makes that refill process almost invisible. I watched a shop tech attach the hose to a 5-gallon bucket, run the line, and let the extractor draw its own supply while it continued to suck up the dirty solution. No manual pouring, no spillage, just a quieter workflow. Now, let's talk about the 170-inch water lift and the 99 CFM airflow. In the world of extractors, water lift is the measure of how high a unit can pull liquid up through its hose, and CFM, cubic feet per minute, tells you how much air it moves. A 1,200 psi pump paired with 170 inches of lift is generous enough to handle a two-story workshop where the extractor sits on a lower level but needs to pull solution up a ramp to the upper bays. The 99 CFM rating isn't the highest on the market, but it's a solid middle ground that keeps the suction smooth without creating a whistling noise that could drown out conversation in a busy shop. So who should actually consider buying this machine? If you run a commercial garage, a detailing service, or a small industrial floor cleaning operation where you regularly face oil-based stains and need to keep the floor dry quickly, the Sandia 805000 feels like a purposeful tool. It shines for anyone who values the autofill/dump system because that feature alone can shave 1,015 minutes off each cleaning cycle time that adds up over a day's worth of jobs. It's also a good match for a semi-professional home mechanic who has a dedicated space and doesn't mind allocating a corner for a 120-pound unit. On the flip side, if you're a casual DIYer who only needs to clean up occasional coffee spills or light dust, this machine is overkill. The weight and size make it a bit of a logistical hurdle. You'll need at least 2 people to move it safely, and you'll have to carve out a permanent spot for the 25-foot hose and the solution tank. Also, the unit runs on standard 120V power, but it draws enough current that you'll want a dedicated circuit to avoid tripping breakers during long runs. If your garage's electrical panel isn't up to that, you'll face additional installation costs that erode the perceived savings. Practical strengths are easy to pinpoint. The autofill hose means you can keep the solution tank full without ever leaving the machine, which is a real time saver on jobs that run for hours. The dual motors give a steadier suction that doesn't falter when you hit a thick, oily patch. and the 12-gallon tank reduces the need for constant stops. The long, 25-foot vacuum solution hose also lets you reach across a wide floor without dragging the whole unit, which is a nice ergonomics win. Weaknesses show up when you think.